Let's get it.
Shutting down forever? Is it over for the passport bros in Medellin? Is the good times done? Let's talk about it. All right, so for those of y'all that know, y'all know I'm out and about every day. I'm connected with the people that know what's going on. I deal with the locals on a daily basis and the business owners. So here's what I've been told. So what I've been told is that police are cracking down on the open air solicitation. What do I mean by the open air solicitation? I mean that conversating and stopping and having conversations with women in Parque is now not allowed. You heard what I said. It's not allowed. I know a lot of you guys come out here, you like the parking lot pimp, you like to just stand outside, communicate, get phone numbers, things of that nature. Right now, that is no longer allowed. They are going to stop you. They are going to tell you to keep it moving, or they're going to tell you to take it inside of a building. If you are trying to have a conversation with somebody, you need to do it inside of a venue, a restaurant, a bar, or somewhere else. Number two, and a factor that most people aren't talking about, the new shopping plaza that is being built right in the heart of Parque Lleras on Calle 9. There's a new shopping center plaza that is being built. If you notice that there's a large fence that is covering the project, but if you look over the fence, you can see a new, really big shopping center project being built. The people that own and are investing into that project do not like Parque Lleras. Now, why would you build a mall in a known area like Parque Lleras with prostitution, drugs, nightlife, etc.? I don't know. That doesn't seem like the perfect place to build a family shopping center to me, but hey, I don't make any decisions out here. So those people responsible for that project are now putting pressure on the city to try to control and restrict.
So this is one thing I'm gonna say about Chill Capo. I don't really know him. I might have seen him once or twice out here in Medellin, but I comment on his content sometimes. He comments on some of the content I'm on. I don't actually know if he actually knows my page personally, but I've had a couple interactions with him on the gram. And he kind of just comes off a little bit just like not fully aware. Like I dropped a comment on his channel 2 days ago, and I'm like, yo, he basically was doubting that the cops were like stopping people. And I said, yo, bro, I got stopped and like photographed and all that shit. He was like, oh, well, you must have looked like one of those people. And I'm like, no, bro, like they're stopping everybody and they're harassing everybody. Now he's changing his stance and he's saying, oh, well, you know, now they are stopping. And I'm like, yo, bro, I've been reporting this news for like 2-3 weeks now. I've been saying, yo, bro, the park is dying. The park is officially dead. This week is probably going to be the most dead because it's like a holy week. So they're really definitely going to be clearing girls out of the park. The thing is that they have to keep the money flowing, so they're not going to just stop it outright. But it's like, it's like, guys, the park is dying, okay? And this is what I'm going to say about the park. The park dying is not the end of the world. I think it's actually a good thing long term because the less girls that could circulate themselves in the park, when you actually come to Medellin, you're probably going to stop getting head cracked. Okay. And you're going to actually be able to have a good time for a lot less because everyone's going to have to start dropping their prices to something reasonable. The club owners and business owners, all that stuff. So, but yeah, the park is not the only place to go. There's tons of other places to go you guys just don't like going to. The park is just like a really easy drop-in place where you could just meet a chick and kind of just bounce. And also one reason why I say that the park is good is because you actually get to feel out the energy of these girls. Like when you match with a girl on Tinder, you really can't feel out her energy. You don't know what she look like in person. A lot of them be catfishing. So it's like the park has its reasons why it's beneficial like that. And the only reason why more locals don't go to the park is because they get priced out, right? They're getting charged their rent just to deal with a chick, right? Like they're getting charged damn near 80% of what they pay per month just to deal with a chick for 1 hour, right? So they're on some shit like, we're not doing that. But if you actually move around the city, there's tons of other places to go. So, but yeah, shout out to him for actually now like reporting the news, even though he's late. I feel like I was in his comments telling him like, yo, bro, they're literally fucking like harassing people for weeks at the park. Like that's just what they're doing. Like it's not made up shit. You know what I mean? Like they're and this all has to do with like the perceptive value of money, right? Like whoever is in power isn't making no money from the girls in the park. So it's like, well, if we could get paid money to now regulate the park so that we could turn the shopping center into something, let's do that. Now, I don't necessarily know how that's going to work because, malls usually close around 10 o'clock. The park starts getting jumping around maybe 12. So I know there's some girls that's on that strip all day long. They're there from morning till night trying to make their money. And then the nighttime, you just see a lot of them because they're coming off work or they're coming out of Central or other places where they're standing at all day doing the same shit. And now they're just trying to charge maximum price here. So, yeah. But Medellin isn't dead, but it's definitely dying because the park, whether you want to admit it or not, is the heart of the city for foreigners. If you're a local, you can try to live like a local all you want. It's going to be really hard. People do one or two things. They go to La Setenta or they go to Parque Lleras. You're really not going to trust going to other random places you've never been by yourself or with a small friend group. You don't know who's there. You don't know how safe it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know anybody there. So once you leave La Setenta, which has a plethora of clubs, these are places that you're going with other people. You're already enjoying yourself with other people. When you go to Parque Lleras, you're going there because you're probably there with some guy friends and you're trying to meet some chicks. Colombia is not a place where you're going to just meet chicks, right? Well, let me say Medellin. You're not going to just meet chicks if they aren't working. Like, that's usually not how that works, right? You might get lucky. They're outside trying to meet a guy, but they're typically, it's not natural for them to go outside and meet someone. They meet guys through social circles, friend groups. That's how they meet the guy that they get pregnant by. You know what I'm saying? Like, they met him through a family member or a friend. When you're a foreigner, you almost have to deal with hoes because that's the only way, unless you start socializing with other people, which is going to take time, you have to meet with hoes. So the park shutting down is a direct attack on foreigner comfortability in the country. I just want to know if they're thinking about the long-term effects of this. Because even if it's like, well, like, everyone's not going to want to be forced to go into a club just to talk to a chick. It's going to be like, yo, if I have to do this, I might as well, you know what I mean, just not even come here. Like, there's other places like Walking Street in Thailand. I know a lot of you guys wouldn't fly all the way to Thailand, but those of you guys that do, you just think to yourself, like, you could talk to a chick anywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's you know what I'm saying? Like, you could talk to a chick anywhere. Now, like, I'm going to tell you guys, and I've been giving you out an insight, and if you don't know, book a consultation with me. I will get you right. If you're coming to Medellin, I will tell you where to go to meet chicks that you could almost meet them and vet them out as if they were in Parque Lleras, outside of Parque Lleras. Parque Lleras is the only place they're actually attacking like this. They're everywhere else in the city is open and free reign. Okay, so tap in with me. I will definitely get you guys right.
Trick all of the things that happen in Parque Lleras, because the last thing they want to do is build a family-friendly shopping center in an area that's known for drugs, prostitution, and nightlife. So that is one of the big things that nobody is talking about. But since I am here, boots on the ground, I actually have that perspective, and I have gotten the feedback from the owners of various bars and restaurants in the area, have personally told me, Capo, the people who are running this project are directly influencing the politicians and trying to lobby for the park being shut down totally, or at least removing the prostitution and things of that nature that are happening in the park and relocating it to a different area of the city. Also, the thing to consider, and probably the most obvious thing, is it's political season. Every time there's politics involved, one side is going to lobby for A, the other side is going to lobby for B. Now, with a presidential election in Colombia, that's no different than anywhere else that has politics. There's always going to be pawns in every political campaign. Medellin specifically makes millions and millions and millions of dollars. So obviously, that is going to play a big part in any political campaign. The discussion is always going to be about Parque Lleras and what's happening in Parque Lleras. Example, the flight attendant guy going missing and eventually losing his life. Unfortunately, even though it didn't happen in Parque Lleras, the publicity and the general consensus is that
you guys got to also know something too. There's a lot of propaganda about foreigners when they come to Colombia, right? There is a lot of propaganda. You guys don't watch the Colombian news, so you wouldn't know. But the way they speak about foreigners are just bad news. Altogether, foreigners are just bad news. So it's kind of like they never paint these situations like, oh, a foreigner came to Medellin and something bad happened to him. They always paint it like a foreigner came to Medellin and he found trouble, right? Like that's how they paint it. It's like he got himself into something because he's a foreigner and he's stupid and he's just here looking for sex and all this other stuff. I've said it plenty of times and I'm going to keep saying it. Colombia as a whole country has an accountability problem. You see it with their commentary and the comments they leave on videos. You see it when they start talking about, like, even I have Colombians commenting on my HomiesHub channel coming to me and saying shit like, the way you're speaking about the country is so bad. And it's like, I'm literally telling y'all my experience. Like, I come here and people are trying to use me for money 24/7. How could you possibly look at that as something that I'm doing wrong? Like, they just have an accountability problem. They don't talk about the fact that because their economy is so shit, some of these people resort to doing some of the most horrific things to other foreigners just so that they can get money. They don't talk about the fact that they have a trade where they steal the electronics that foreigners are bringing in to resell it in the market. That's probably how they get a lot of their iPhones and MacBooks and shit like that outside of actual Apple importing that shit. Who the fuck inside of Colombia, besides people that are selling drugs, able to even afford to purchase this shit? It's being stolen and resold on the market. You have a stolen resale market. You have a scopolamine market. You would literally have entire gangs that are operating on dating websites so that they could extract money from foreigners, right? You have the police that are called and they already know what time it is when a girl's dealing with a foreigner. They're looking for money. They don't talk about none of that shit. So they paint foreigners as being dangerous, hurting women, drugging women, doing all types of things like that. And then when they finally come down here and they get killed by one of them, it's like, well, good for him. He's coming down here to take advantage of our women. And then you have people like this stupid ass Texan bitch that just come online and just and fucking just, you know, spew shit. She doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. She's just talking. Yeah, you black men are coming down here taking advantage of women and chasing sex tourism. It's like somebody wrote it on a video. How can you guys focus on sex tourism with the amount of cocaine that's like coming through your country? The amount of gang wars, which I just want to say this too, the majority of the reason why crime and death happens in this country is over money. The majority of the death that happens in this country is over drugs. They do not address this shit because it's not going to stop. So because it's not going to stop, they don't even see the point in even addressing it. So if they could put anything they can on foreigners, some kind of foreign outlier reason, they do that. Oh, well, let's shut down the park. If we shut down the park and keep the foreigners from coming in here, we can make the country a better place. Bro, this shit is annoying, bro. If that was a black flight attendant that went missing, these passport police channels would be celebrating. Of course. The media will also conflate Venezuelans into any bad news with foreigners because Venezuelans are foreigners. So I'm telling you guys, it's an accountability problem. Every time they have a problem, they look for what other group outside of themselves to blame. It's a very toxic mentality. It's a very toxic mentality. Because like I've told you guys living here, and I'm going to keep saying it, the biggest purchasers and participants in S work are other Colombian men. They are the ones that are working all these hours and take that 1 or 2 days of pay and then go buy themselves some pussy. That's what they do here. They just don't like the fact that foreigners are basically, if you could break down what it is, right? Imagine being so poor that you have to resort to things that technically go against your morals, but you can't stop, because if you stop, you die, right? Like this is just like Catholic culture, and this is a Catholic country, but the majority of the money that flows into this country comes in by un-Catholic means, right? So you have to portray yourself in a certain way, because you can't wear the mask of who you really are, or you can't just show your face. You got to wear your mask. You can't talk about the drug money. You can't talk about the prostitution money, right? You can't talk about, like the extortions, the murders, the gangs, because none of it's going to stop, because all of that works together to keep the country together. So we have to paint a facade or an image to the people using media, to make it seem like, all right, the real problem are these people that we let into the country. Pablo was our problem before, but Pablo's not here anymore. We're deeply sorrowful for everything Pablo has done. We're trying to move past that, right? And this country has now become a beautiful place to come and live. And it's like, in one sentence, they're saying this about their country because they want the foreigner to look at Colombia like, oh, that must be a good place where I can do business. But at the same time, everything bad that happens, they're like, well, we can't take no accountability for that, so let's put that back on the foreigner. Where now it's like, listen, even though our country is full of sex and drugs, right? We don't want to be known for that, and we don't want you coming here for that. We want you to come here to spend your money the way we want you to spend your money. We want you to invest in property, spend extra money renting these apartments. And it's like they're so conflated on this shit, because that's the very thing that's destroying their economy with inflation, because there's so many Americans coming into this country spending all this money, inflating the economy. Rent goes up, food goes up, the price of everything shoots up. They have a structural economic problem that they cannot fix unless they embrace something. They either have to embrace getting rid of this shit, or they need to just own it. And until they do that, this country is always going to fluctuate with whether it's worth coming to or not. And that's just their problem. Said, a great time can still be had in Medellin, but it seems less worth it these days. Cartel run those businesses in Poblado, nothing will change, or they will send threats and you will see soldiers in blue. So most of you think they're going to close the clubs in Parque Lleras? I don't think they're going to close the clubs. I just think it's going to be harder for those clubs to make money. Survival mode. Imagine the people outside the country went to the bunny ranch and we said we were trying to stop as tourists. Flight attendant was gay and his father lived in Medellin. Have you ever been drugged in any of the countries that you visited? Nope. People die every week in Medellin. It just doesn't get published because it's not always Americans. Facts. This is probably going to be my last ride to Colombia after July till minute. Too much ish going on in Medellin. Same for me. Maybe one more trip. Maybe because you coming from a better economy, so it's partly a jealousy thing, and foreigners are not moving low key. You can't move low key as a foreigner. Did you guys catch my stream last night? Somebody said it on stream last night. He was like, yo, your security guard is probably doing a sweep through the building to see if you're making noise. Because I was thinking to myself, like, who's complaining about noise? Like, I'm at talking level, and I talk like this every night. The problem was that I brought a beautiful girl over, and he wanted to just complain about something. That's just all it was. Like I brought a beautiful girl over here. We're not even fucking. Like we're just talking. You know what I'm saying? Like we're literally talking. There's not music blasting. There's nothing. And he got and I've caught him on my Ring camera, putting his ear to the door to see what he can hear in the like apartment. Like he'll do that. So he must have said something to the like, yeah, you know, he's being loud. There's no one on my floor. There's literally no one on my floor. So I'm like, you're just this is a jealousy because you can't do what I do because you know it costs money and you don't have that money. That's all it is. It's not that foreigners are not moving low key to me. Like, foreigners are doing some very simple shit. We live in places that most locals do not live in, right? So when we bring a girl over, it's probably in a crib that already knows we're gonna have women over here, right? Or someone that's on vacation. For us to still get in trouble means that a local must have found himself in this place, or you're one of the foreigners that live amongst locals. At this point in time, I don't live in a building with locals. I live in a building that's usually full of foreigners or Mexicans or maybe some Colombians that's visiting the city and got a little bit of paper. You know what I'm saying? Like, but in my old building, if I'm bringing a girl over and I'm dogging her shit, these niggas would be complaining. Meanwhile, they blast music. They have the biggest speaker. They blast music so loud. I live on a top floor. I feel my bed vibrating. They do this every holiday, fiesta. They drinking all night. They're doing whatever. But when you do something because you're not from here, it's automatically a problem. Yo, we have to report them. We have to do this. This is just what they do here. And it's like when you get mad about how you're being treated, they're like, yo, bro, so go back to your country. Why are you here? And it's like, bro, why would y'all open y'all doors to me and y'all get to do whatever you want to me and we can't do nothing because we're not from here? This is a very tribalist mentality that you're just not going to encounter in some other countries, but you're going to encounter that shit here in Colombia, specifically Medellin. So it's an accountability problem. I hear someone blasting music right now. I can literally hear their music. If I was to complain, go, brr, brr, yo, these guys been playing music for like 12 hours, man. Like they didn't stop. And it's actually music. It's not like somebody talking. Them niggas are from Colombia. They're not even about to talk to them niggas. But they're going to have everything to say to me. You know what I'm saying? But anyways.
It happened in Poblado, and wherever the money is, crime is going to follow, and people are going to be victims. In my opinion, Parque Lleras is always going to be a pawn in every political game. Medellin is no different than any other city in America or anywhere else. Politicians are going to lobby and play to their side. They're going to play to their supporters, and the other person who's on the other side is going to play the opposite game. Next, the reason why all the clubs are closing at 2 a.m. The reason why venues are closing at 2 a.m. is because their permits are not being renewed by the city. The city is trying to get a tighter control on what's happening in Parque Lleras, and they are not approving the renewals for anybody's permits to be open until 4 a.m. There are only 2 venues that I know about that are allowed to be open until 4 a.m. If you want to know what those venues are, hit my DMs right now, and I'll let you know personally. I'm not going to say, but there are only 2 venues that are allowed to be open until 4 a.m. up until August and September, for what I'm told. What I'm told, one venue has their permit until August. The other venue has their permit until September. Everybody else is being forced to close at 2 a.m. because they are trying to allow less time for people to be able to drink, party, get drugged, etc. They feel like if we shut down things earlier, we'll have a better control on the city. And it's also going to eliminate the noise complaints that are happening now. Is that going to stop anything long term?
I don't know who would be making any noise complaints. There are no local housing anywhere near Parque Lleras. Everything is business owned. People cannot even afford to live in those areas. You guys got to understand this is all bullshit. Like there's no noise complaints. Is everything shutting down at 2? Yes. I said this in one of my videos. The only place in Medellin that nightlife is open past 2 or 3 o'clock is Parque Lleras. There's another part in the town in Itagüí, which most of you guys don't go to. You know what I mean? That's open late, but there really is a low amount of women that's actually there. I mean, there's women there, but you know they're not like your typical women standing out in the park, right? So they're trying to regulate this and kind of make this similar to how they have the rest of the city. Like I said, I don't think it's really just trying to take away the enjoyment that like the foreigners have. But you know, if they think that this is gonna work for them, so be it. But anyways, I'm pretty much off that. I don't go to the